China and to talk about what's kind of been going on there. It's a pretty big story, but basically, China has finally started to crack down on cryptocurrencies within its borders, within its territory, and this was sort of a long time coming. So, just a quick refresher: cryptocurrencies are based off of blockchain technology. Lets you use distributed ledgers to sort of have a consensus form of truth. It lets you not have these centralized authorities that sort of servers or platforms that tell you sort of whether something happened, whether a transaction happened, whether something is true or false. And you could sort of have a distributed network that does it, kind of built off of things like BitTorrent and other peer-to-peer systems. It's a huge advance in that sort of technology. Great potential, really, really cool. But it does not fit the Chinese economic or political model, basically, like in any way. So China is all about central authority, control, knowledge, and crypto just cuts against that. Crypto appeared at a time when China is extremely worried about capital flight out of the country. Since 2015, capital flight has been pretty crazy. You're looking at, well, now over $1 trillion a year that's just fleeing the country. So you can't give people more ways to get money out of the country. And crypto is really good. It has a lot of potential use cases, but one really good use case is to move money anonymously, securely, privately around the world, including out of China. So that is not what the Communist Party is about, and they've been, well, deciding to crack down. But for a while, China was really a great place for crypto and for mining in particular. Mining is just how you sort of have the transactions occur, and you create new coins for the different currencies. For Bitcoin, currently for Ethereum too, there's a sort of proof of work method that it uses that shows, hey, we have Bitcoin, we're doing these hashing algorithms, and you sort of prove that you're actually part of the system. And mining is very energy intensive currently, and a great place to do it has been in Western China, where there's really cheap coal and hydropower that lets you mine really cheaply, and it's better than a lot of other places in the world. So basically 75% of Bitcoin mining is thought to happen in China, or it was until the last couple of weeks. And the vast majority of mining in general happens in Russia, Iran, China, and North Korea. Why does this happen? Well, these are countries that both the government wants to get all sorts of weird, blackmail, dirty market sort of money into the country. So if you're Iran or North Korea, you're trying to avoid all sorts of U.S. sanctions, financial sanctions, stuff like that. If you're China, or Russia, you're also trying to get in, like, I don't know, cyber criminal attacks that you're a part of. You're trying to get some of that money back into China or Russia. But that's what it's for. It's for moving money, and it's really gotten to the point where the U.S. authorities and a lot of authorities, sort of law enforcement authorities around the world, really consider Bitcoin and sort of these blockchain technologies as being part of money laundering and other sort of illicit money activities, which isn't a good thing, but that's kind of what's happening. So what China is doing in China with crypto, with this sort of crackdown, we're saying that may be the start of something all around the world, but China just has the tools to actually make it happen in a way that other countries really don't. So what is China doing? Well, miners are being taken down. All the specialized equipment they use to run these algorithms, that's being shut down, and there's been over 1,000 arrests. The big banks in China, the big state banks, have all forbidden the use of crypto, the trading in crypto. So that's basically gone. Anyone who had an account, any sort of vendor or commercial entity that had an account that was trading in virtual currencies is basically verboten now. Their accounts are locked out. They're being cut out of the financial system. And this has sort of been a worry in the crypto or Bitcoin and blockchain community for a while. What happens at the interface between the blockchain or whatever your cryptocurrency is and the normal currencies, or sort of the traditional currencies, the trad currencies? What do you actually do? Because if you are suddenly forbidden from paying your taxes, say in converting your Bitcoin into dollars, and you suddenly need to pay taxes, how exactly are you supposed to do that? So there's been a lot of these sort of interface questions that China is now really exploiting. And so it's a real thing. So any of these merchants, like, people are cut out of Alipay, they're cut out of these core tech platforms that are needed to do basically to do business in China. And if you lose that, you really can't function. So it's really a huge moment. And I mean, in the last couple of weeks, something like 90% of China's Bitcoin infrastructure is thought to be down. And you could see that sort of in the hash rate for the sort of the Bitcoin network. And it just shot down. The overall processing power shot down because now the state, federal, and provincial and central government in China are cracking down on this, and it's gone from the top down. So that's really what we're seeing, and everyone has known for a while that China and crypto are not aligned. One is about freedom and privacy and not and freedom, privacy, and anonymity, and China is not about that. I mean, Bitcoin and blockchain. There's all sorts of other hustles and things going on around it that aren't maybe the sort of that libertarian thing I just mentioned, but that's definitely a core part of it. And China is about as far away from that as you can think. I mean, this is a place that's putting in all sorts of surveillance technologies that is just crowding out all sorts of typical civil liberties and, I mean, civil society, all that kind of stuff that people used to talk about. Well, it's happening in China. It looks very 1984, and crypto does not fit into that equation. So we're basically seeing China slowly ban crypto from China. And it's funny because crypto was thought to be this thing that was totally immune from government interference. It would pull people away from fiat currencies. It would do all sorts of transformational things. But not in China. Not in China. This isn't going to happen there. What China's actually doing is trying to take all sorts of the real benefits of cryptocurrencies, digital currencies, and have it basically use those new technologies, those new technologies to create a digital currency for itself. So it wants to make a digital yuan, and it's actually really, really far into doing that. It's one of the countries that is most advanced in this whole process. It's sort of scaring the U.S. Treasury and the Federal Reserve because they wonder if they're behind. There's all sorts of things sort of in play right now. The U.S. has the reserve currency, so it doesn't feel that much of a rush to create digital dollars or whatever. But China, which is trying to cut into the U.S. preeminence in that area and trying to circumvent the whole crypto thing, the whole sort of actual blockchain, Ethereum, Bitcoin sort of non-state digital currencies, is really trying to get into this really soon and really quickly. And that's what's happening. So it's a crazy sort of moment. We're in a really interesting place for monetary innovation, and a lot of it is happening in this blockchain sort of world. And China's taken a real strong stance on what it wants that world to look like. And it might not be pretty. I mean, if you have digital yuan, basically the equivalent of like a digital dollar, it would allow the government to track all sorts of things that used to happen in cash. It could allow the government to put sort of time limits on when you could use money. It could make money disappear. It could do all sorts of crazy things that we haven't really conceived of as monetary policy, as part of an economic lever that the government can manage. So it's pretty scary stuff. It's pretty interesting stuff. It's pretty novel stuff. But anyone who's interested should really check this out. And this is sort of the moment when it became clear what's happening. Like a lot of the guys who are really into crypto, the evangelists, the people who are really talking about it, know a lot about it, they've been sort of wondering about what might happen. And now it's becoming clear. Crypto is getting banned in China, and we're going to be dealing with the fallout for a while. I mean, who knows? For a lot of reasons, people think China is on the vanguard and the frontier of all sorts of technologies. But if the only way that blockchain is really advanced in China is through sort of state mechanisms, will it really see the same sort of technological progress that you see in other places? And is China really the sort of state or political system that is able to take the advantages of blockchain and use them to their fullest potential, right? So everyone always says the U.S. struggles to do anything right, which the federal government, that's pretty true. But maybe the actual system, this sort of vaguely incompetent system we have, can actually be really improved by cryptocurrencies, by Bitcoin, by blockchain stuff, by smart contracts on Ethereum. We don't know, but one system is clearly going to be at least amenable to this. We don't know. If crypto gets more and more associated with criminal activity, that could be a real problem. But at the same time, it's also a $1.5 trillion asset class, however you want to think about assets in the modern world, and that's where we are. So everyone should check it out, and I'll be throwing out more videos probably about crypto and some other things on here. You can check it out, and, well, until next time,